Rodriguez with Massage Therapy Houston and MemorialWellness.com. Today's video is an explanation of some chair yoga and stretching exercises, but before we begin, I want to ask you to go to the website and download the printable version of these exercises. I think it's a good idea to have them printed out so you can take notes as you go through the video. And these video exercise and drawings come from several people. Christina D'Arrigo, who has a book called Chair Yoga. Also Bob and Brad, physical therapists on YouTube. They're a neat couple of guys. And then our favorite stretching book is from Bob Anderson. Of course, his book's called Stretching. So let's get started. I'm just going to start doing the poses and explain as we go. So the first one is basically just hands over your head. So what I describe these are things that are not difficult for most people, but they're also things that we don't do, movements that we don't generally do during the day. So hold them for about 10 or 15 seconds each. Here's number 2 from Bob and Brad. Basically chin tucks. Bob and Brad on YouTube say you should do this every day. And so I do all these for 15, 20 seconds. I'm not going to do them that long in the explanation. This one 10 or 15 times. Number 3, I'll turn. This one, the shoulder blades kind of come together and point down at a 45-degree inward angle. So you should feel this as your shoulder blades come together, also on the front, on the pecs. Number 4, I'll show just one side. So I hold on to the chair to stabilize my shoulder and then pull on my hairline to stretch the muscle that runs from my shoulder blade up to the hairline, and do that for 15 or so seconds. I take these in phases, so I'm going to go a little bit further. When you feel the stretch, let it hold for a few seconds and then take it a little bit further. Of course, Bob Anderson says the stretching should never hurt. It should be no more than mild discomfort. Number 5 is rotating the shoulders. So I kind of focus on my elbows in terms of movement, and as I rotate them forward and back for about 15 seconds each, then of course that rotates the shoulder blades, everything. Next, this is for the lower legs. So two parts to this. First part, I'm going to pull my toes up, so that should stretch my calves. Hold that for 5-10 seconds or so. Next, push down, and then that should stretch the shin, the front part of your leg, and do that several times. You can do that 2 or 3 times each to make sure you get a good stretch of that lower leg. Next, I'll do this on the left side. So hand up over your head and then just pull that arm over. You should feel a stretch all here under the arm and even down to the waist. As you feel it a little bit, hold it for 10 seconds or so, then go a little bit further and feel the extra stretch. Next, where are we? Number 8. So this one, pretty easy. Just use your hands on your legs and you're seated in the chair. That should help you get a good stretch in the back. You're just turning the back, feel it till you're comfortable, turn it both directions. Next, number 9. So this one, I'm going to take in 4 sections and ask you not to stand up until you get to section 4. So the first part is feel in your arms and shoulders and just go down to your comfort level. Feel that, hold it for 5 or 10 seconds. As you feel that more, next go a little bit further. And the next part 2 is to feel it in the belt line. So you're just targeting this part of the low back and upper hip, not the legs yet. So feel it in arms and shoulders. Step 2, go down a little bit further, feel it in the belt line. And then when you do that, 10 to 15 seconds, step 3 is to go ahead and focus on the hamstrings. So as you do these, everything will elongate and you get better range of motion. And then total time, 30 seconds or so. Don't get up yet. So step 4 is to put either your forearms or your hands on your knees, and then use those to push you up, and then that way can save any stress on your back. Okay, what's next? This one in 2 parts. We're going to cross your leg. I'm going to do this with my right leg, and you would feel this in the hip, and then come forward with both hands and just lean forward. So you're going to feel a stretch from your shoulder all the way down to the low back and hip. And then, of course, switch legs. I'll show you the other stretch from the other side. So you do that again. And then the second part of this, depending on how much room you have, just turn to the side. This is a variation on the previous exercise, but just because your leg is bent, then that's going to change the stretch. Bob Anderson says change the angles. Next, this is kind of a variation on a sit-up. So you can do this with the chair supporting you. I'm going to come up to where I feel it. So if you know about sit-ups, if you're not doing them, they're hard, but if you start doing them, they become easier pretty quickly. So I just hold this one as long as I can till I feel my abs shake a little bit. Just do what you can do in the beginning. Okay, number 12. I think the yoga people call this thread the needle. So we'll put one arm down to the floor, the other arm up to the ceiling, and then look up to the ceiling. And I try to pull my hands apart from each other to feel that stretch all the way through the body. Number 13. So this one, just use a chair for support. And yoga people can tell that I'm not an expert, but I'm just doing what I can do, and that's what I ask for you to do. So just up like this, and then as I get my balance, I lean over. I don't think this shows in the drawing, but I've just found it feels good to do both at the same time. If you get really good with your balance, you could take your hand away a little bit and do that for 15 to 20 seconds. Next, we've got number 14, and this one you spread your feet apart. I like to have shoes so that you can grip the floor, and then hands up, and then in an L shape on your elbows, and then I kind of lean back a little bit. So I'm feeling a little bit of stretch in between my legs, feeling it mostly in the upper body, and hold that again 15 to 20 seconds. Next, they call this the eagle, number 15. So this one really feels cool. I was surprised when I did it. It doesn't look like much, but when you do it, it just has a nice feeling. Do that for 10 to 15 seconds. Switch sides and do it again. Next, we got a shoulder stretch and an extra stretch for the lats. I'll do this one sometimes in the kitchen counter, but we'll do this for the video right here. So what you do here is just go down and feel a stretch in the center of your back, and again hold it for 10 or 15 seconds. And then an extra thing, I'm going to turn to the camera. I'm going to turn my hip out and look up. So hip out and look up. When you do that combination, it changes everything. Now you feel it under your arm in the lat area. So that's just a really good thing to add on to the shoulder stretch. Again, 10 to 15 seconds for everything. Oh, and now we've got I'll do this with this leg here, and then make sure your chair doesn't slide. This is on a hardwood, so anyway, so this one here, just kind of lean forward, feel a stretch, and then you can take your hand up. Again, 10 or 15 seconds on that one. What's next? The warrior pose. We got 18A and B. So this one here, I've heard of these things, but of course being a rookie, didn't know. So just lean forward. The trainers will tell you don't let your knee come past your foot. And then I'll hold this one until I feel it in my leg. So it would be a little longer than this video. And then the part B of this is to bring your hand back to your leg and the other hand up to the ceiling. Just get a good stretch, keep the same pose, and another 10 or 15 seconds or longer if you can tolerate it. And then next, there's the drawing shows this seated. I like to do this one standing so that I can do a stretch. So what I'll do is find a way to stretch my calf. In this case, I'll just use a chair for a brace. And then the drawing shows looking up. We're going to do it looking down as well. So you get a good position, make sure you're stable, and then look up and feel a stretch in your neck. And then what I'll do is I'll switch legs, stretch the other calf, and this time I'll pull down. So this one here, I'm stretching my neck and upper back. So there are the stretches, the yoga exercises, some physical therapy from Bob and Brad on the internet, on YouTube. So I hope you enjoy that. And then remember, you can get a printout of these drawings on the website memorialwellness.com. We hope this helps and hope you have a great day.